Hi everyone, it's Sean Murphy. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. Today we're going to be talking, I just got my notes here. Today we're going to be talking about retention and how to use retention to build your business, to keep your business going. So welcome to this hangout. There is some chat enabled there, so let me just type a little hello message. Welcome to everyone. So I see some folks are still joining, so we're going to wait for just a minute as we get started. But today's about retention. Today's about helping you keep your team together. Keep your team focused on what it is they need to focus on. And that's the key part. What is it that they need to focus on? So we're going to get started here in just about another minute. Again, want to welcome everyone here. Appreciate you joining me for this webinar. This Google Hangout, if you will, Hangouts on Air. A little bit about me. I've been involved in the industry for a little over, wow, I don't know if I want to tell you. It's been about 15 years now in the network marketing arena. I've been everything from a distributor to a global vice president of sales of a $100 million network marketing company, $100 million on an annual basis. Been responsible for opening countries, marketing inside of countries, doing trainings and teachings and seminars in over 25 different countries. So that's my experience in network marketing, building global organizations. So I know what it's like to be in the field. I know what it's like to have someone no-show your own home, no-show their own home. If you haven't had that happen yet, just wait. Hope it doesn't happen to you. My first year in network marketing, $80,000. Let me finish. In debt. Why? Because I didn't do it the right way. I did it my way. I didn't use the system. So you're going to hear me talk today about systems and tools and use the things that are out there to help you create the retention that you need to create. All right, so here it is, 9:02. We're going to go ahead and get started. So again, welcome everyone to this webinar, this Google Hangout on retention. My goal today is to give you some ideas, to give you some tools, some techniques, some tips that have worked for me. I don't know if they're going to work for you. I hope they do. I know they worked for my teams around the world. Maybe there's some things you might take from this. Maybe there's some things that you might benefit from this. The goal is, the key is, I want you to know that these are ideas, these are suggestions. You've got a great organization that you're a part of. No matter the company, no matter the team, they're an incredible team of people, an incredible company that's going to help you grow your business. So there's a lot of things that they already have in place. I'm not here to change that. My goal today is to give you some ideas, some tips, some tools that have worked for me and for my teams. So first thing, what is retention? Well, retention is keeping their attention. Now, a lot of times, there's people in network marketing, there's people who start their business and they'll have two people who have joined their organization, maybe as customers, maybe as clients, maybe as leaders, and they've started their business. Well, to take care of two people isn't a big challenge. Well, why then do those people leave? Why then did those people get started and why did they leave? Now, suppose you have 20,000 people on your team. We have this mindset that it's okay for people to flush through the system, that it's okay for people to leave your organization. I don't know that that's a valid thought process. Again, this is me speaking. Why do I think that? Why do I think it's important for people to, once they start in your business, that you keep their attention? Because if you don't, that moving ball, that squirrel, that distraction that can take them away from your business is always out there. So retention is truly the ability to keep their attention. Because folks, if they're with you at a hotel meeting, if they're with you at a hangout like this, like for whoever's on the, I see a whole bunch of people from around the globe. Yep. Wow. Okay. Welcome, India. All right. Excellent. Glad to have you here. Welcome, Latin America. Welcome, Europe. Okay. Couple of folks from Asia. Awesome. Scroll down a little bit. Wow. It makes me happy to see that this message is being shared around the globe. So I'll do my best to bring you value. So the key to retention is keeping their attention. So how do you keep their attention? If you're with me for the next 45 minutes, you're going to be watching the screen, but I promise you, you're going to scoot off, you're going to check an email, you're going to think about, do I need to feed the dogs, or does this need to happen, or that need to happen? We have an attention span of about 6 seconds anymore. So not that we can do everything every 6 seconds to keep stuff moving, keep it interesting, keep it fun, but we do have to do something that when they do see it, when the customer, when the leader sees it, it can keep their attention until when? How long should you keep someone's attention? How long should you be on someone's mind? Until the next time you update, you change what they're going to put their attention on. Think about a relationship. When you fall in love with somebody and you leave them, what happens the instant you leave them? You're thinking about them. They have immersed themselves into your mind. They have created a desire for you to want to make memories moment after moment after moment, whether they be future memories or whether they be memories after the fact. The key is greetings from Colombia. Bienvenidos. Hola, mi familia de Colombia. The key is that you need to keep somebody's attention. It's your desire to keep somebody's attention until the next time. So let's bring it back to this workshop. Let's bring it back to this hangout. This is about retention in your MLM business. Why does anyone join your business? So here's something that I did. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Let's see how this works. So I created something here on a mind map, and it's talking about creating the team glue. And these are some of the topics. Now, we may not get to all of them on this webinar, but I'm going to be talking to you about client retention. What's the language you use? What packages might they use? Why would they join you in business? I'm going to talk about leader retention. Let me close this one down. I'm going to talk to you about the language, prospecting language. Look how big that gets. So prospecting language, business building language, all of these things we're going to touch on here because I believe it's important for you to realize that in your business, in your model that you are going to use, you're going to be talking about all of those things that were just on the screen. So how do you explain all of those? Well, see here, let me let you in on a little clue about public speaking, about communication. Really not about public speaking, but the reality is that aren't we always speaking publicly? Hola, Ecuador, bienvenidos. We're always speaking publicly. Right now, I'm speaking publicly to you. It happens outside of our head. That's what public speaking is, when we communicate outside of our own thoughts. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. When you communicate with somebody, when you're having a conversation one-on-one, 7% success comes from the words that you use. Yeah, listen to that. 7% success comes from the words that you use. Well, what does that mean? It means if you focus only on your words, you're going to have a chance to have a 93% failure. Whoa, Sean, what are you talking about? Think about your presentations. Think about your communications. Suppose I say, yeah, I'm excited. Which one are you going to believe? This or the words? See, we clue in to the physical, to the visual. So what does that mean? No matter how good you get at your presentation about your company, about your compensation plan, about your team, about your products, about your ingredients, about your system, about your culture, it's still only 7%. 7%. So what's the other 93%? It's the rest of this. It's the tone in your voice. It's the way you keep things from being a monotone. So imagine if I talk like this for the rest of the 2 hours. How excited would you be for me to continue to talk to you like this? Right? So understand that what we're going to be going through, when I talk about all of this information that's on this screen right here, when I talk about all of that stuff from the prospecting over here to packages, to piquing interest, what do they do well? Do they smile well? High energy, helpful? What are their interests? All of these things that we're going to touch on, and we may not get to it all inside of this workshop, but what I want to do is I want to let you know that it's out there, that it's important, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to cover this information eventually, however we get to it. So first thing I want to talk about is team retention. We're going to build retention inside of your organization. How do we do that? Who's the first person we need to retain? You. My mentor taught me this, and it was a powerful lesson. What would keep you from, what would make you quit your business? Why would I want to think of what would make me quit my business? Because the key to understanding retention is you always have to understand where they're at. See, retention is direction. In order to retain people, in order to help people stay plugged in, tuned in, turned on, fired up, and moving forward, you have to give them directions, don't you? So how do you give someone directions? Well, you have to know where they're at. I've had people message me saying, hey, welcome from Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Latin America, what's this one? Bolivia, Slovenia. So if I were to ask you this question, where are you? All of the different people that I mentioned, all of the different countries that I mentioned, the same question, where are you, gets me a different answer from each of them. Even if they're in the same country, even if they're next door to each other. One lives at 101, the other one lives at 102. Isn't that location unique to each and every person? So Sean, what are you saying? That I have to create a unique retention plan for each and every person? Not necessarily. It will be unique for them, but the message will be the same. Kind of like the question is where are you? So when you find out where they're at, can't you get them? Doesn't the idea or the thought of somebody wanting, say, $1,000 a month check? Now, no matter where they're at, the goal is the same goal. I was blessed to be part of an incredible event, one of the most amazing events I've ever been to, that I've ever spoken at, down in Quito, Ecuador, back in the beginning of June. Incredible company named Fusion. And I spoke in front of 5,000 people. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I loved it. My point is this, there were 5,000 people at that event that all came from different areas. And they all wound up at the same location. So that retention method, that retention model was to get to Quito, Ecuador, June 5th, 6th, and 7th, and to be a part of this event called Alumbra. So what I'm sharing with you is that no matter how many people on your business, 2, 20, 200, 2,000, 20,000, the goal is always the same, success in your business, success in your organization. So now let's talk about retention there's two kinds of retention we're going to look at. Because the reality is that your company will only pay you for two things. One, to find clients, to find customers, consumers of your product. Number two, to find leaders. So there's two kinds of retention you're going to be using. Client, customer retention, consumer retention, and leader retention. So when you decide which you are, because remember, I asked you a bit ago, who's the first person we need to retain in this business? It's you. So my question again, what would make you quit? What would make you quit? And if you know those answers, can't you avoid it? It's kind of like clothes. What wouldn't you wear? Well, I wouldn't wear a dress. Well, not in public. My point is, if you know what you don't want, I know we talk all the time in network marketing, and I've been guilty of this as well, to always talk about what it is we want. What's the drive? What's the goal? What's the focus? That's very important. But the reality is that you need to know what you don't want, because that you can identify. See, if you're going to work on a goal you haven't had before, you're going to need to think a way you haven't thought before. You'll feel a way you have not felt before, and you're going to have to do things you haven't done before. So tell me, if I met you first time one-on-one and I started telling you to feel different, act different, and do things different to get different results, how excited would you be for the change? See, because that's what retention is. It's change. It's changing what they've already been doing. It's overcoming preoccupation. So you understand that retention is the ability to allow somebody to change and to retain this new goal. Because isn't all that we do retention? Even if it's a bad habit, didn't we retain that thought process, that idea? So if we eat ice cream and we're trying to lose weight, and we eat I'm not eating any more ice cream, and tomorrow you eat ice cream. Didn't you retain the old habit? Isn't that the retention that you're doing? So in order to retain something, it has to overcome what they were previously doing. Now, in network marketing, in pretty much any kind of marketing, the goal to get somebody to change their habits is at least 4 months. Now, I know we talk about changing habits 21 days on a consistent basis, but we're talking about people changing their purchasing habits. We're talking about people changing their consumption habits. We're talking about people changing their communication habits. Because if they're a client, they're going to need to use products every day, and if they use them, the key is to get them to order in that first month, the second month, the third month, and by the fourth month, studies have shown that if you can get them to purchase in that fourth month, you're a 90% chance they're going to stay for the next year. Now, what happens in the 12 months is that it becomes commonplace, and now they become accustomed, and now they're looking for the next widget, the next bell, the next whistle. So you have to constantly keep them in that 4-month cycle. And we'll get into that in customer retention and customer sales. So how do you keep this glue? Through retention. Well, you've got people on your team. When's the last time you said thank you to your team? What do you mean, thank you? Yeah. Let me say it a different way. When's the last time you said thank you to your team? Hola, Peru. It's so important. It's recognition. Babies cry for it. Men and women die for it. You really want to create some significant retention? I'm telling you, say thank you. Say thank you. This works for customers as well. Thank you. Thanks for placing your order. And there's tools out there you can use to say thank you, to pass along that. You can automate it. But that heartfelt thank you. Hey, listen, I just wanted to call you up, say thanks for being a part of the organization. Just trying to find my phone here, get the visual. Hey, listen, just wanted to thank you for being a part of the organization. That's all I wanted to say. Have an outstanding day. Talk to you soon. They're called reprogramming moments. And again, that's a whole nother training. Reprogramming moments. Moments of positive influence to reprogram, to reset, to recalibrate the mindset of the listener. So number one, retention. Number two, you have to understand why they're here. Do you know, if I were to ask everyone that's watching this right now, and it'd take me a while to ask that question. If I were to ask you right now, do you know the number one reason, beyond a shadow of a doubt, why your team is part of your organization, why each individual is working towards you? And if you say the answer is money, I'm going to tell you to do this and slap your hand, because that ain't the answer. Well, what do you mean everyone wants more money? No, no one wants more money. Let's get clear. This is a leadership training hangout. No one wants more money. Because what is money? What if they had more money and they never spent it? Have they won? No. It's what everything converts into. I talk about my goal, being a better dad, better husband, because I want more smiles in the world. I don't just want more smiles in the world. I want those smiles to show up for my family. They need to be given away. If I put smiles on you and you never share it again, what good did that do? If I get $1 million in the bank, what does that do? It doesn't do anything until I do what? I spend it. I use it. So if you say, well, they want time freedom and money freedom, you don't have a clue why they're with you. And I'm being harsh because this is about retention. Because if you don't know, imagine if you had people in your organization and all of a sudden I showed up to start talking to them. Me, Sean Murphy. And I started asking them the questions, these retention questions, these probing questions, these goal-setting, goal-achieving questions. And I find out, and I can find out usually inside of 60 seconds, most often inside of 30 seconds, what is somebody's core why? In here, not up here, in here. And if I can find their why in 30 seconds and then talk with them about that for the next 30 minutes, what do you think happens? They say, oh my gosh, this guy can really help me. None of us can help anyone. All we can do is give them a roadmap and a flashlight and say, go get it, Tiger. We need to be behind them, clapping them, recognition, cheering them on, but we can't. Words don't teach. What I'm sharing with you now isn't teaching you. It's opening up the ideas, the possibilities that you believe you're capable of. So, getting their core belief, their core understanding. How do you do that? Well, it's the list of 20. Let me go back here and share this screen with you and share with you what I'm talking about. So, leader retention. When we talk about leadership training, let me close this down. And we're talking about languages. Here we go. Where is it? List of 20. I have it over here. Sorry about this. Benefits. Where is it? Something just changed on me here. Hang on just a second. Oh, leadership training. There it is. Developing the skills. Okay. Not sure where it went to. So the key is the list of 20. What are the list of 20 reasons they want their business to succeed? What does that look like? Well, it's a list. It's get a piece of paper and write out on it 20 reasons why you want something to succeed. Get some paper, some lines on it, and write out your list of 20. And it's anything you want to have happen, from new car, new house, $10,000 a month, I want to pay off my credit card bills. What is it that you want? What is it you want your team to have? What is it they want to have? What is it you want to have? See, when you get this list of 20, there's a very simple thing that I call finding number one. But if you don't have their list, you can't even find number one. Because for us to think what it is they want or to think what it is they need, right now, what if I told you what I thought you needed? What if I told you you needed to get better at retention? Who likes to be told what to do? Anyone? Raise your hand. So the reality is that when you find out this list, you go through this list, and you ask them very simply, which is more important, number one or number two? And when they say, well, number one's more important, then you just, what I call, playing them off each other. What's more important, 1 or 3? Well, number 3 is important. Great, 3 or 4. Okay, 3 or 5, which is more important? 3 or 6. Okay, 3 or 7. Well, 7's more important. See, what we're doing is we're diving down, and the way you explain that is if you could only have one. If you could only have one of these goals, which would you have, number 1 or number 2? 1 or 3, 3 or 4, 4 or 5. And you wind up, when you get through all 20, what do you have? You've got their number 1 goal. Now, if I'm working with 10 people, isn't it going to be easier for me to work to know the 10 goals versus the 100 things they wanted? Because if number 1 comes true, if the number 1 goal comes true, don't you think the rest will fall right into line? May happen along the way, but we have to get to that core competency. See, if you were going to drive an hour away, say your family, your mom and dad live an hour away, is your goal to get to the first intersection or to get to mom and dad's house? Is your goal to get on the autopista or the highway, or is it to get to mom and dad's house? Is your goal to go through a detour or to get to mom and dad's house? See, there's all of these milestones that happen along the way in retention, but the key is, what is the ultimate goal? So what does all of this mean? Why retention? You know what it really comes down to? It comes down to leadership. The reason people are with you is because they know, they feel comfortable, they believe that you can give them their success that they're looking for. When in reality, it's up to them. But what you've offered them is a vehicle, your company, your compensation plan, your products, your team, your trainings. You've offered them this vehicle that they can get into called fill in the blank, your company, fill in the blank, your team. You've offered them this vehicle so they can get into that and use that to reach their goals. See, it comes down to leverage. The reason people leave your business, the reason customers leave Macy's or Dillard's or Neiman Marcus or Sears or you name it, whatever, it doesn't matter the business. Microsoft. Why do people go from Apple to Android phones? Why do people go from PCs to Macs? Is because they feel they can leverage the new relationship better. I was a PC user for years. I now use a Mac. I don't know how I could ever go back. See, when you make the transition and you say the phrase, man, how did I ever get along without it? That's when you realize, oh my gosh, this could have happened sooner, and I don't want it to change in the future. Now, there may be another technology that comes along that you may make adjustments to. There may be another product that the company comes out with that may become your favorite. But what it means is that you're leveraging that vehicle. The reason people leave is when they feel somebody is leveraging them, taking advantage of them. Typical example in network marketing is people quit AutoShip. Well, why do they quit AutoShip? Because for the $90, the $90 or $100 they're spending on a month, they're not getting any value. And the easiest thing for them to do is to go down their credit card list and go, ooh, there's something $100. What was that? Ooh, that's that stuff. That's that thing I'm buying. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. Nothing is overpriced. Listen carefully. Nothing is overpriced. It's undervalued. And price isn't always about monetary value. It's about time. What's the most precious thing we all have? Time. So if I'm not getting any return for my time, which is why a lot of people stay in network marketing, because of the events. They get to go see their friends because of the hotel meetings. Sometimes it's the only friends they have. Like-minded friends. People who are passionate, concerned, helping, loving, wanting to move forward, focused, have desire, the ability to communicate. This community called network marketing is powerful. It's why I think Eric Worre says $70 billion is consumed, is used throughout network marketing, $70 billion on a global basis. Now, I'm pretty sure that's the number, but it's a huge number. Right? Millions and millions of people are part of network marketing companies. Why? Because it's really a place for people to find a community. So, comes back to retention. What's your community look like? What does your team look like? What is your mission statement? What's your team's mission statement? And until you have a team, who should you be using? Your uplines. What's the community mission? If I were to ask you right now in a sentence, what's your why? What's your company why? What's your team why? What's your personal why? And what's the there's a fourth one. Oh, what's the why of your compensation plan? Why do people use your comp plan to create success? What are you talking about? Exactly. Exactly. If you don't understand that, then you're not totally there yet in understanding the complete ball that is retention. Because we think retention is just keeping them on AutoShip. It's not. keeping their attention. Keeping them from wandering away, looking at other things. Or when they do look at other things, they go, you know what? I'm glad I'm here. So, let's get into some basics. List of 20. Find that out. That'll help you with the retention. What's their why? Now, we can focus on their goal, but why are they going to go after that? Mine's to be a better dad, better husband. To live in courageous integrity. Now, when my mentor used to call me up and I'd say, you know what? I'm not going to convention. I'm just fed up. I'm sick and tired. I'm not doing it. Nobody's doing nothing, this, that, or the other. You know what he'd say to me? He'd go, what's your mission statement? I said, to be a better dad, better husband. He says, are you working on that today? No. Do you want to? Yeah. Then let's get back to work. So it would eliminate all of the confusion, all of the frustration, and get me back focused on my path. Because I can promise you, folks, we've all had those days we want to quit. Whatever it is, maybe not our bit, just enough. We've had it up to here. The way we get back above that, the way we remove that from even being a challenge, is by making sure we have our why clear. See, because as a leader, you can't be with everybody all of the time, 24/7. We have technology now that allows us to, here's an example, communicate around the globe. But the reality is that we can't be there all of the time for everyone. So how do we keep them plugged in? How do we keep them from losing their faith, their commitment, their desire to succeed? You have to give them their why. You have to remind them why they're doing what they're doing, because we all forget. I forget sometimes. So my son comes in. I'll go around the globe and I'll speak like I did in Quito. I've got other events that I've got scheduled for. I go speak, and boy, I can tell you, I feel like I'm on top of the world when I go after I finish those events. You know what keeps me in check? It's when I get home and my bride says, Michelle, she goes, okay, go wash the dogs. Oh, but let me tell you. You tell me about how great the event was later. Go do what you need to do here, right now. Go wash the dogs. So it's really puts you in check and balance real quick. Keeps you humble. Keeps you focused. Keeps you realizing that every day we have to do what we do well and do it a little bit better. So, list of 20. Their why. They need to check in on a regular basis. My mentor called it, maybe you've heard the expression, a checkup from the neck up. We need to keep these thoughts, because if we're moving forward towards our goal, if we're going for the bronze rank, the platinum rank, the diamond rank, we've been this close for so long and our team has churned and we've gotten close and it's gone backwards. We've gotten close, it's gone backwards. And see, that's where when it goes backwards, we lose that retention. It's because we got focused on the diamond, we got focused on the platinum, and we forgot to stay focused on the people. So what are some of the things we can do? List of 20, their why, daily check-in, them calling you. See, as a leader, you can only deal with the people that you can deal with. You only have 24 hours, they only have 24 hours in a day. So having them communicate with you. What I used to do is I would have them send me a text, a Y or an N, a yes or a no, once a day, twice a day, depending upon how often they felt they needed to check in with me. What do you mean? There's some people who lack a lot of personal confidence. They're scared. They're not sure they're working towards their goal. They get distracted easily. Oh, what do you say? What is that? They get distracted easily. Squirrel. So some of them would have to check in on an hourly basis. Oh my gosh, I can't be taking calls every hour. No, you can't. But you can use technology because you want them to get into state. You want them to say, I'm moving forward. You don't have to tell them, because when you tell them, the ego, the subconscious, sometimes doesn't even hear that. So what I would have people do is set a timer on set an alarm on their phone, and every hour it would go off, and they would just send boom, 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 text, and they send me a text. Why? Yes or no? That they're on track, that they're on target, that they're moving forward. If they sent me a no, now I'm going to ask them at the end of the day when I have a conversation with them, great, tell me all of the wonderful things you did, and do it in 60 seconds or less. I'm very clear on how to keep my time open. And if they were lying or not telling the truth, you'll hear that. Because your goal as a leader to retain people, to keep them focused, to keep them plugged in, is to keep them on their task. Not to do it for them, which a lot of people do. Not to do it with them always, which a lot of people do, because they confuse activity with results. Your results are two things. Find clients, develop leaders. That's the only thing your company is going to pay you for. Because if you find clients and they become great clients, what are they going to do? Buy product. So there's where your commission comes from. Well, if you develop leaders, what are leaders going to do? They're going to find clients and find leaders. And they're all going to consume product. So which one makes your check bigger? Customers or leaders? They're both important, but leaders is what drives your volume. So have them do their daily check-in. Now let me be very clear. Let's touch on something. If this is the first time that you're working on leadership, or you're going to implement a plan, what happens when you change things? Things change. So if you're going to go out and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I was just listening to this guy in Dallas, me, yo, and I love this thing about send me a text. You can't expect them to swallow it all at once. Now you can if they're serious. If it's kind of like, it's the difference between if we were in a pool and I were to throw you a life preserver, you'd be like, oh, this is cute, this is fun. If you were in the middle of the ocean and I threw you that same life preserver, you'd probably be a lot more excited to grab onto it in the ocean than you would if you fell off a ship. If I threw it to you, you just fell off overboard, right? We're 1,000 miles out to sea. You'd probably be a little bit more passionate about grabbing that life preserver. It's the same life preserver I threw you in the pool. It's just understanding where people are at. Remember, where are you? There's this whole, it always comes together. So when you're going to implement any change, you have to explain why. You have to give them the reasons why. You have to let them, because they're going to change, right? They're going to change what they're doing, and change is scary. It makes people hesitate. And a scared mind does what? Nothing. So this isn't about scaring folks. This is about getting them plugged in, tuned in, turned on, and turned up. So if that's the case, how are you going to go explain any of these new implementations, these new ideas? Well, you start with the reason why. So if I was going to go talk to me, and I'd say, Sean, listen, there's a couple of things that as a leader in the company, as your sponsor, my goal is to help you have more. Yes? Well, yeah, I hope so. Great. So I'm constantly growing myself. I'm constantly learning new ways to help bring you value. You'd want me to do that, wouldn't you? Well, yeah. Great. I learned something today I think could be of value to the both of us. Can I share it with you? Well, sure. See, what I've done in those questions is that permission marketing. I'm always getting buy-in, as opposed to, hey, listen, I learned something today. Oh my God, it's going to make us $1 million. Let's do it. It's like, why though? But why? Because everything's why. Write this down. Failure in sales happens for one reason. It's the conversation we're not privy to. Think about that. It's the conversation we're not a part of. See, because you've had people say, yeah, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to get started, and then they get home and they never answer the phone again. And you're like, what happened? Well, if you've ever asked what's happened is that you weren't part of the conversation that caused them to quit. Were you? You weren't. So you always have to include them in these new changes, because if there's a change that's too much for an individual, the conversation they're going to have is, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, and I should just quit. Because this is about retention. How do we keep people plugged in? And we keep people plugged in because they're going to move towards their goals. I've had people who have been clients of mine now for 17, 18 years. Why? Because They believe, and I've proven to them, that being a part of my community, my organization, my trainings, that I'll continually, year after year, deliver to them information, techniques, and tools that will help them continue to reach their goals. It's the only reason. I mean, they may like me as a friend, but they want a result. If they're going to compensate me, if they're going to pay me, they want to see the results. They want the return on investment. So the same thing for your folks, retention. So language. List of 20. What's their why? What's their goals next 30, 60, 90 days? Remember, we talk about network marketing, the 90-day run. Everything happens in these 90-day windows. So make sure you understand what the 90-day plan is. It's important to have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goal, because we overestimate what happens in what we can do in a year. We overestimate that. Sometimes we underestimate what can happen in 10 years or in 5 years. So those goals are important. Those goals are very important. The key is to understand that when people are stressed, when they're frustrated, if they started with these two things, I don't have time and I don't have money, you need to give them time and you need to give them money. And the way that you do that is help them reach their goals. So let's see. Let me check my notes here real quick. See what else I wanted to touch on before we wrap this up. Somebody says they've lost the webinar. Well, if you're typing here, I'm not sure why the video still shows live here. If you can still see me in the chat, just say I see you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I forget how many people are watching this. So yes, thank you. Okay. Let's see here. Benefits of being a... Okay, so the language that you're using. So the team... Remember, using the language is 7%. How you say it, the way you say it, what you say with the emotion, the sound you say it, the softness you say it, the pause that you put in there. All of that is so important because 7% of the words. The words are important, but it's the rest of what we do that's so very important. It's this emotion. Okay? Prospecting, package interest, presentation, 48 hours. So somebody decides to get started. What's the number one thing that needs to happen when somebody joins you in business? Number one thing, if they're going to be a business builder, what's the most important thing to do? Get them their first check. If you have people who have come in, and now I ask people to qualify themselves. Scale of 1 to 3. 1, I want to be a customer. 2, I want to get my products for free. 3, I want to be a business builder and make $5,000 to $10,000 a month or more. So I ask them to identify themselves. Why? Because I need to know how to communicate to them. That's me asking them, where are you? Are you a number 1? Are you a customer? Are you want your products for free, or do you want to make $5,000? See, if I know where they're at, now if I was talking to a customer with the activities necessary for a $5,000 a month income, what do you think the customer's going to feel? How do you think they're going to be thinking? Holy mackerel, I don't even want to get started. I don't want any of that. No, don't do that to me. But they're going to go, ooh, wow, really? Okay, okay, great. Those are the people that get started and you never see again. Because you're telling, oh my God, this is so great. I've got business in the United States, in Canada, Mexico, Slovenia, Peru. You've got all this business all over the world. And they're going, oh my God, I just wanted some energy. I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to sleep better. You got to find out where they're at. 1, customer. 2, products for free, couple $100, and then 5's the business builder, the leader. So if somebody's a $5,000, I want to get very clear. Why do you want that income? Are you looking to replace your job? Or do you have some immediate debt that you need to clear up? Are you looking to replace your bride's income so that she can come home and take care of the kids? Or are you looking to retire so you can take care of the kids and your bride can do what she wants to do? But if you don't know where they're at, how do you know what to talk about? Because for you to talk about what you want to talk about, how's that working for you? My mentor used to make me so mad. How's that working for you? It's not. Oh, then I'd keep doing it. Or change. You have a choice. So language is important. Finding out what they want. Now, there's a couple of when somebody's going to be building. If they're a number 3, there's 3 kinds of business they're going to build. They're going to build their personal business, their team business, and their community business. Well, isn't that all the same thing? It is. But let me explain the different. It's the way you look at it. You look at it this way, you can look at it this way, and you can look at it this way. So here's the point. Personal business. You need to be spending 80% of your time on your business. Yeah, but I want to help my team. I understand that. You need to be spending your time till about 80% of your time, 20% helping your team. Why? Because you need to be the example. See, there's too many people that so quickly get into management mode and they lose everyone. They lose their own business because they're now trying to help everyone else build theirs, and they're going, well, when's the last time you sponsored someone? So 80% of your time in your business till you reach a check that's consistently double what you need income-wise. So if you need $5,000 a month, until you have a check that's coming in for at least 4 or 5 months at $10,000 a month, you need to be working 80% in your business. Now it may drop down a little bit, 70%, 60%, but more than half of the time you need to be building your business, because your check starts where? From you down. You can't count on your upline. You can't count on your team members that are growing. You need to be personally sponsoring and personally building your business. So 80% of your time on your business. Once you get to that level, now you can. It doesn't go to 0 time in your personal business. It drops down to maybe 50%, half and half. When you look at the great leaders in this industry, you ask them the numbers, 100 to 150 people they've personally sponsored. That has gotten them their 6-figure a month, 7-figure a year, and higher checks. Now, if you're real particular on who you sponsor, that number may get down into the 60s and 70s, but it's still going to be an awful lot of people. So, again, this is leadership, not to scare you off, but you need to have that many people who have committed and are building something to find those 3 or 4 that take you to the top of your compensation plan. It's Sinaloa, strength in numbers and law of averages. You can't change that. You cannot change Sinaloa, strength in numbers, law of averages. So, finding out their list, their why, their reason. Now, if they're a business builder, they're going to build their personal business. They're going to build their team business. These are their core leaders. Who are their 6 or 7 folks that they're going to spend the majority of their time with? Because you can't spend it with everybody on personal development, on mastermind, on leadership development. But you can do it with that handful of 6, 7, 12 usually is the max. But now you've got your core community. You've got your leadership board. You've got your mastermind group. So there's personal business, team business, then there's community business. This is where you are helping everyone. This is where you do video trainings. This is where you do recognition. This is where you have the team events to where you can meet everybody and thank them. You can leverage your time. As a leader, when I was in Quito, Ecuador in the beginning of June, I spent an hour and a half on stage, but guess what I got in return? Listen carefully. These are powerful numbers. So if I did an hour and a half, so 90 minutes, so let's just do 1.5. Let me get my calculator here real quick. So 1.5, where's this at here? And I times that by 5,000 people. Right? Think about that. 1.5, the hour and a half, times 5,000 equals 7,500 hours. 1.5 hours times 5,000 people. I just was able to do 7,500 hours worth of training. That's why you have community events. So if I could do 7,500 hours worth of training, and let's just divide that by 24, that's almost a year's worth of training I did in an hour and a half. Do you see that? Do you understand the power of leverage? So that's why it's so important for you to be doing things as a community, things as a group. There's 100+ people on this. I just got 100 hours of success for me and for my family completed. You see how that works? So there's some ideas. If you've got some questions, hit me on Facebook. Find me please go to my community, my Mentors Moment community page. I'll put a link There's links on my Facebook page, but because it's videos like this that get put back there. These are for the people that are a part of the Mental Profits community. They're not for general public use. Now, anyone can join this, but if you want your teams to watch this video, you can send them there and they can watch it. There's no fee to join the community, to be a part of it. But I just want to know these are the same psychographic, the way people are thinking. You want your thoughts to create your income, and you want to have more income now that you want. So, with that being said, I appreciate everyone being here today. I hope you have an outstanding day. Thanks for making the world a better place, and I mean that sincerely, because if you're in this incredible industry of network marketing or any business that you do that puts smiles on people's faces, I appreciate that. Why? Because those smiles eventually show up for my family, and for that I'm grateful. So I'm Sean G. Murphy, and I'll see you where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now.